Welcome to the return of the Balance of Cinema podcast, a show dedicated to discussing movies from the cinematic failures to the lesser known classics hiding on Tubi. It's time for our Stephen King doubleheader. With me again is Michael.
Hello.
This is part one of our Stephen King doubleheader. We will be focusing on the movie Sometimes They Come Back, which is a television movie from 1991 that aired on CBS, in case you're curious about the channel.
I did not know that was a television movie, but it makes a lot of sense now.
This is an adaptation of the 1974 Stephen King short story, originally published in the magazine Cavalier, which I didn't know this. Cavalier was owned by Fawcett Publications. It used to be a magazine for like novellas, but it later turned into a Playboy ripoff. But it being by Fawcett Publications is cool to me because Fawcett Comics, also part of Fawcett Publications, were the people responsible for Captain Marvel, whereas everybody knows him now, Shazam.
I did not know that either.
The story was later published in the Night Shift collection, which, if you look at the Night Shift collection, that's like a host of like Stephen King adaptations. Like Trucks is in there, which is what eventually would become Maximum Overdrive. And then, extra fun fact, if you didn't know this, there was another adaptation of Trucks that came out a couple years later. So, if you really liked Maximum Overdrive of Emilio Estevez, you can go look at another adaptation of it without Emilio Estevez.
I love 70s Stephen King.
Also, Graveyard Shift is another story that is adapted. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, a long time ago. What's funny though is my sister just recently let me borrow the Night Shift book because I was curious because I went on a little while ago. I went on like a Children of the Corn journey, and I was like curious about reading the original book, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it was actually a short story in this book full of other short stories." So I didn't know Maximum Overdrive and Sometimes They Come Back is in there. So now I kind of want to read more of it.
How was your Children of the Corn journey, by the way?
It was good for the first couple. After 3, I enjoyed 1, 2, and 3, even though 2 and 3 was incredibly silly. But 4 was, I think I watched through 6 because I wanted to see Isaac's Return because I'd never seen that one. And I finally got to 6, and it was like just one of the worst ones of all and made no sense compared to the other movies. The lore just completely fell apart. So I stopped. I didn't watch Revelations.
And then after that, you have like a bunch more remakes to watch too.
I watched the newest remake. I actually own it. I enjoyed it. The one that's like a prequel, I think. It's like but it's like takes place before the first one. It has the little girl leader. But I actually liked that one. Nobody else did, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I'm not watching it, so I'll take your word for it. Speaking of more Stephen King movies, are you familiar with the movie Cat's Eye?
Yes, I love Cat's Eye.
Okay, so this story was actually originally going to be in Cat's Eye. I can't remember if it was going to be like part of it or it was replaced by something. I couldn't find.
To come back. That story was going to be in Cat's Eye.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I couldn't find much information on Cat's Eye, so that's on my end. But yeah, they either thought it was going to be too violent for it, which Cat's Eye is pretty violent. Little goblin tries to kill Drew Barrymore,
and the smoking story always gets me. I can't remember the name. Is it James Wood?
Yeah, James Woods.
Yeah, James Woods. Like, I don't know. He gets so tortured in that movie.
Dino De Italian names. Dino De Laurentiis had the rights to quite a few Stephen King adaptations, actually. And so he decided he was going to hold off and it was going to be an adaptation on its own. Producer Dino De Laurentiis is a very big producer. He produced a lot of Stephen King movies, Evil Dead 2. He's the reason why the Hannibal Lecter movies are all weird. He's the reason why Clarice couldn't be in the Hannibal show because He produced all the Hannibal Lecter movies, but I think he owns the rights to Silence of the Lambs specifically.
Oh wow.
That's an Oscar nominated movie, so I get why he would want to hold on to that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
So in the early 90s, production started on this movie. They got director Tom McLaughlin, who is most famous for probably the best Friday the 13th movie, Part 6, which we actually talked about that a little bit before we started recording. Um, but he's mainly a TV guy. He directed some episodes of Friday the 13th, the series, not related to Friday the 13th, the movies. Um, he also directed some Freddy's Nightmares episodes, which are related to the movies. Nightmare on Elm Street, though. And he also directed the Lifetime movie, Cyber Seduction, His Secret Life.
He also directed Sniper, 23 Days of Fear.
Oh, he directed another sniper movie. Oh my god.
That says DC Sniper. I don't
Oh,
think it's related to the Sniper universe.
oh, it's like the Steven Seagal one where they try to make you think that's connected to the universe, but no, it's just a Steven Seagal movie where he does
Right.
nothing. He sits in a chair for 90 minutes.
Date with an Angel was a decent movie. He made that too. That was a fun little movie back in the day.
What was the movie again? I'm sorry.
Date with an Angel.
Oh, okay. I haven't even heard of that one. I didn't put that on here. But Cyber Seduction is it's I've never seen it, but I've seen videos on it. It's a very hilarious premise. It's about Jeremy Sumter, who everybody's probably only gonna know as the guy who played Peter Pan in like the Jason Isaacs Peter Pan movie from like 2003. I like how I call it the Jason Isaacs one. That he just played Hook. Um, it's about like a kid who becomes so obsessed with PG-13 level online porn, it ruins his life.
That sounds about like a Lifetime movie.
He's so addicted to images of women in bikinis that it tanks his grades. He stops hanging out with his friends. He's like breaking into his friends' he like hangs out with his friends, and then like he breaks into like his parents' office to go look at porn.
But not really porn, just like bikini
Yeah,
pictures.
because it's Lifetime, so they can't
Yeah.
actually show that kind of stuff. And then the movie ends with him like killing himself, or he tries to
Oh,
kill. He jumps in a pool. He tries to drown himself in a pool, but then he doesn't, and he swims out of the pool, and the movie ends.
damn, that's dark.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess that maybe that cured him of his porn addiction.
I guess.
He tried to kill himself like AJ Soprano, and it didn't work.
You know why it didn't work?
Um,
Because sometimes they come back.
oh my god. Uh, the movie actually has a pretty decent cast too. It stars Tim Matheson, who is probably most famous from Animal House, but I also know him from like Fletch, Black Sheep, a very Brady sequel.
I know him from the Brady Bunch movies.
Yeah. Um, this is actually a cool fact. He is the original voice of Johnny Quest,
Okay, that's
which
cool.
we're pretty much the last generation to remember Johnny Quest. I don't think there's been any Johnny Quest adaptations in like the last 20 years.
There needs to be. He was also in Black Sheep. He played
Yeah.
Chris
Chris Farley's
Farley's
brother.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably like my favorite role of his just because I'm a Black Sheep fan.
same. R.I.P. Chris Farley.
Playing his wife is Brooke Adams, who I'm familiar with Brooke Adams because she's in two other really good horror movies.
The
Invasion of the Body.
Stuff.
Oh yeah, she has like a cameo in the stuff, but like she is one of the main characters in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 70s one, which is really good movie. And I watched this one pretty recently, and it's another Stephen King adaptation, The Dead Zone, starring Christopher Walken, directed by David Cronenberg.
I actually just watched that. I think last year for the first time.
It's really
Very
good.
Very good.
And then also starring as one of our villains is Robert Ressler, who I have something I really want to say about Robert Ressler later, but I'm just telling you the movies he's in. He's Robert Ressler was in Weird Science. He's Robert Downey Jr.'s friends in that movie. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. The
He
pretty
worked for him.
underrated. It's one of my favorites actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one I always skip when I go through that when I like marathon those movies.
I think you need to watch it again. It's really good. It's really goofy.
It's definitely goofy and a little.
But
I don't want to say what because I don't want to get
oh no,
canceled. But
no, that's intentional. You can say that. It's
okay,
intentional.
that's a very gay Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Don't worry, it's very well. The director says it's not intentional, but everyone else who was in the movie that's also gay said it's intentional.
Okay, well that's good. There you
It's
go.
like
Be gay.
yeah, it's like when you watch Fright Night and you're like, "Wow, this movie's kind of gay," and you're like, "Oh, everyone in this movie's gay."
I love Fright Night. It is a little gay though.
Robert Ressler is speaking of vampires. He's also in The Underseen Vamp, which I think is a really good '80s vampire movie.
I've never seen it. That's been on my list for a long time now. I need to watch it.
And most importantly, Robert Ressler was also in The Outsiders TV series from the early '90s. I know what many of you are saying. There was a TV show, and it's like, yeah, it was canceled
That's
after
what
like
I'm
7
thinking.
episodes.
He was in the movie, wasn't he? Outsiders
No,
or
he was
no?
not in
That
the
was
movie. He was in the show.
who was in the movie?
A
Kind
lot
of
of
looks like
people. He
no. It's
plays
like
it.
the
C. Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon,
Matt Dillon.
Ralph.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze. There's a lot of fucking people in that movie.
Good movie.
He plays Emilio Estevez's character.
Okay, I never knew that had a TV show adaptation.
You would be surprised. There's a Ferris Bueller TV show that stars Jennifer
See,
Aniston.
that one I knew.
Oh yeah. I watched this movie recently called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and do you know they made a TV show with that?
No, I never heard of that one. I wonder if it's any good.
So yeah, that's the main. There's a couple other. Well, I think there's one other known person in here, and the rest of them are just people that I know. But I will name them as the movie progresses. Sometimes they come back. I'm going to read the plot right now. You know what? Do you want to read it?
Desperate for a job to help him support his family, Jim Norman takes a position teaching high school in the town where his brother was murdered in front of him by teenage bullies 27 years before. The teens who committed the crime are long dead, but now the kids in Jim's new class keep dying and being replaced by new students who look like the deceased hoodlums. Hoodlums?
Yeah,
That's a word we're
hoodlums.
bringing back, apparently.
To be fair, who knows how old the description is?
That is true. I was just surprised to see the word hoodlums.
So, my history with this movie is very recent because I watched it for the first time a couple weeks ago. I think
What?
Michael, you're the same.
No, I am not the same. I have a history with this movie.
What's your history with this movie?
I grew up, I think it wasn't on CBS, but I think it was when the second one just came out. Sometimes it come back again.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up later, but
Yeah, I think it had just come out, and we had like HBO or Showtime, one of those, like back when they were channels, not streaming services, and they like debuted the second. Not I don't know about debuted, but the second one came on there, and it was like the new big horror movie on there. So they replayed 1 and 2 just constantly, and I used to watch them every time they were on. I loved both movies. I hadn't watched them probably since I was a kid. So last night I watched the first one again in preparation for this, and I was like, you know what? I'll watch the second one too, probably. And after the first one, I was like, I don't want to watch the second one again right now.
the reason why like it took me quite a while to watch this one was because I always thought the plot sounded stupid, and I focused less on the aspect of like someone like facing like their fears, like something traumatic happened to the main character and now he has to literally face his fears. But I always just took the idea of like, what? Evil ghost greasers? That sounds like a parody of a Stephen King premise.
And apparently, when I watched this movie as a kid, I guess I watched movies and did not ask questions. Because like when I'm watching it last night, I'm like, what? That don't make sense. Why is this happening? What? Why is that happening? Why is he doing this? Like it. I know it's based on a book, obviously, but like it really seems like the further that movie goes, it seems like they were making writing the script as the movie went, because shit just like would cancel out shit that happened before, and it was driving me crazy.
Yeah. Um, Well, I know they changed the ending, but we'll get to that when we get towards the end of the movie. So, movie starts with the character played by Tim Matheson, Jim Norman. He returns back to his old hometown, accepting like another teaching job. Um, if I remember correctly, that they're basically saying like he has like some kind of like emotional issues, so he kind of like lost his job,
Yeah,
and this is like him getting like another shot.
yeah.
Um,
There's a couple of like innuendos. It never fully explains it, which is a running like you know thing in this movie. But they hint around that he had like a rage moment back in Chicago or wherever they came from that got him fired or got him in trouble of some kind. That he like raged out on somebody and like I don't know. He has anger issues apparently.
yeah, and then as you kind of see like his first day teaching, he like has issues with like the jocks in his class.
He breaks the stick.
Like they're like, "Oh, hey man, we're the star players. We don't got to do work, just pass us." And he's like,
It's
"Oh,
just
I'm not
Chip.
doing." Yeah,
There's the whole class is full of football players. They even say that, but Chip is the only one that ever talks.
they got to pay the actors more if they have lines.
Right. Chip is an asshole too. I hate Chip.
Yeah, and so you can kind of see that like I don't know if it's a combination of like passing, like just like I don't know if it's a combination of him just being passionate about teaching, or it's just as will come later. I don't think he likes hooligans. I don't think.
Hoodlums.
I we'll kind of get into the more, but like what it really seems like is he just has no patience for like asshole teens. Because of like what happened to him as a kid, so, and he's probably just like, yeah, fuck people that fuck teenagers that don't want to learn. But he does have a couple students that seem to appreciate him more. Kind of balances out his job.
They have the one student. I can't remember his name. But like after Chip's like giving him a hard time, he's like, "Oh, you should pass us because we're football players, and that means you should pass us. Yay, sports ball!" There's another student that's like, "Oh no, I actually am really excited that you're here because I want to learn." I'm like, "Oh, aren't you the teacher's pet now?"
After kind of establishing like his new job, we finally get to see like why he is so like kind of like uneasy about this town. I do like that before he kind of like goes to like go visit his brother's grave. His son like gets like a train toy, and his son is just happy that he found like a toy. But he's like showing him the toy, and you can just hear the sound of like the train whistle in like the audio, and it's like the son is probably triggering the fuck out of his dad right now.
Right. Every time he sees the train, he's just like PTSD moment.
It's like, oh, thank you, son. That's a really nice toy. Can you please take it away from me?
Why did I buy you that?
Hey, Dad, look at this cool 1950s car with flames on it. Isn't this awesome? We find out the reason why he's been having nightmares too since he came back to the town. We find out what happened is that him and his brother, his older brother named Wayne, they're just enjoying their days, but unfortunately, he's in a Stephen King book and it's the 50s, so he has to deal with evil bullies.
Not just regular bullies.
I feel like Stephen King was really bullied as a kid because he makes bullies to like be like the most evilest people in the world.
Right. These bullies are very reminiscent of the bullies in the original It movie.
Yeah.
Like they're greasers, and then the leader of them like always pushes it too far. And there's even
Yeah.
the scene in the movie where they're like, "Hey man, don't really hurt him," which is the exact same scene from It.
Yeah. So the first of all, why are these kids walking around don't walk through train tracks. That's
Right? Don't do
stupid.
that. First of all, I want to point this out. At the very when we finally get this backstory, the very beginning of it, the whole thing starts with Jim as little baby Jim, little boy, little kid Jim, is sitting on his porch, bawling his eyes out. And you're like, oh, what happened to him? Why is he crying so hard? And his big brother goes out there to comfort him. Turns out the reason he's crying is because his mom said he could not go to the library with his brother. This is the kid version of somebody who got kicked out of a whole city for having anger management issues. was crying because he couldn't go to the library. This is the first thing of this movie that makes no fucking sense.
So yeah, he goes to hang out with his brother. They're walking to the train tracks, and that's when the greasers show up. None of the names really matter except one of them because they're all essentially interchangeable.
Pretty much.
But one of them is the leader, because he's the more well-known actor, is played by, as I said earlier, Robert Russler. Now, I actually looked up their ages. They're all in their mid-20s, so they're not actually like that old. But Robert Russler was in like Weird Science and Nightmare on Elm Street playing teenagers like 8 years before this. He it is too late for him to be playing a teenager still.
He's like 30. Like, hey, you want to play high schooler?
Yeah. One of them, like the blonde-haired one that's like combed back, he looks like he is 30.
Yeah, he looks old as shit. But honestly, he's like the most, to me at least, he's the most interesting one of them.
Yeah, because he howls like a wolf.
Yeah, he's like the only one that's like legitimately creepy to me. The way he looks, like, I don't know.
And then the tall one that barely has any lines. I looked up his name is Bentley Mitchum, and the biggest movie he was in after this was he was the lead in Demonic Toys.
Oh, nice. I think he has the best line in the movie though, as far as the bullies go, because they say it twice. Is when they first see him, they're like, "Look, it's sissies with books. Read me a story, sissy."
Despite how old they look, the bullies are the greasers are a lot of fun. They're the best part of the movie.
They really are.
And then there's a fourth one who we'll talk about him a little bit more in a second. So these stupid idiots, they stop at the train tracks to bully these kids. And then like they beat up the older brother, and then the train comes.
Well, they did more than beat up the older brother. They straight up stab him.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Because like the lead bully, I can't remember what you said his name was. He like pulls out a knife, and that's when the other guy's like, "Hey, don't really hurt him." And then like they see the train, so he kind of pushes him forward, and he pushes him right into the knife. And then the guy's like, "He had it coming. He hit me." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yes, the child that you just murdered had it coming because he's punched you in the face." Sure.
I like how I saw this movie twice and I somehow missed the fact the kid got stabbed.
I was like, "Is that how they beat people up over there? Like, just fucking stab them?"
And so instead of leaving their car behind, which their car is like a black Chevrolet 150 that says in my notes. I don't know anything about cars, so I'm trusting Wikipedia. It's black.
It's one of the
with
black cars with flames on it.
Yeah, it's flames on it. And so instead of ditching this car and running away, they get in the car to go drive it off, but they don't have the keys. And then one of them, one of the greasers that's named Mueller, he leaves the car and then leaves them behind. They're like, "Mueller, you coward."
Like all you have to do to survive this train wreck of a movie and literal train wreck is hug the side of the cave they're in.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. That's what Mueller does. That's what little baby Johnny does. And nobody else does. Everybody else is just like, we're going to just stand here.
Yeah, I get like Wayne was stabbed, although now I get it because apparently I didn't get that before. But it's like, I don't know, roll.
I think that part bugged me too because he pulls Wayne off the tracks, to be fair. But then Wayne's like, "Run, go get help." And he's like, "Okay." And he just takes off running. I'm like, "Dude, your brother just got stabbed. He's bleeding out. Don't run away. He could have lived if you just like, put his arm over your shoulder and kind of like limp away with him to get help. Like find an adult." It wasn't. It was a little itty bitty knife. He could have lived, but no, you just left him bleeding out on a fucking train track. Like, and Mueller lived, so I don't know what he did. Did he also just leave the like child laying there bleeding?
Yeah, they're not even like that. If I remember correctly, they're not even that deep in the tunnel. They're like fairly close to the entrance. Yeah.
This is such a survivable incident.
I wonder if the book it's like explained a little bit better. But yeah, in the movie it's pretty silly. And so yeah, the bullies die, Wayne dies, and then Jim leads his life as someone who hates fucking teenagers, I guess.
and then I love that it shows Because, like I said, at first he's crying on the porch because he couldn't go to the library. Then after he runs off, it shows a glimpse of like baby Jim once again sitting on the porch crying, and his dad walks out, and it never shows the conversation. I just imagine the dad's like, "What are you crying about this time?" He's like, "Oh, my brother fucking just got murdered, and I left him bleeding out on the train tracks."
I mean, it's the 50s, so he probably just got beat just for crying about. Like, oh, you sad your brother died? Here's the belt. 50s suck.
What are you crying about now?
It's also the anniversary of his brother's death, so like he's like really feeling it. His nightmares are continuing. His wife is trying to like start a new shop in town, and his son is like at school too.
His son is just, I love the son throughout this whole movie. All this like horrific stuff's happening, and the son's just like living his best life. Like every
Yeah.
scene, like the wife's just like, "Jim, you're not sleeping. You slept like 3 hours in the last 4 days because of these night terrors." And Jim's like, "I'm fine. I got to go teach these kids, even though they keep dying." And the son's just like, "I got this cool fucking toy. Like I don't know. I'm super happy here in this new house."
After another encounter of Chip, because he's failing Chip because Chip won't do his fucking homework. So he's like, "What the fuck? Why are there consequences for my actions?"
I said I play sports ball. You were supposed to pass me. Then he threatens him. He like punches the window. He's like, "You're dead." I'm like,
Yeah.
no student would say that to a teacher, especially in the 50s. Or actually, this is the 50s. This is like what the
It's 90s.
90s. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe that would happen then.
And one of his students, the one that you're talking about, the teacher's pet, his name is Billy Stearns. He comforts him and is like, "Hey, man, I appreciate you." And then somehow Billy drops his wallet, and so Jim, in order to catch a guy on a bicycle, he gets in his van to go give him his wallet. I like the shot too. There's like a shot. There's a shot of like the principal like watching him. And it's like, why are you suspicious? What did he do that's suspicious?
Right.
He's just like, "Billy, your wallet." And then he gets in his car and the principal's like, "Oh, I don't like what's happening here." He's like, what do you think's happening?
The next scene is one of the biggest scenes. That's like just such a pet peeve of mine. I no.
I thought it was a lot of fun. Mainly because I just like car chases. But yeah, as Billy's kind of driving, as Billy's driving down the road,
riding down the road on his bicycle.
As Billy is riding down the road, out of nowhere, the car appears, just waiting for him, and then it starts chasing after him. But no one else can see the car except Jim, and so there's this. I think it's kind of cool, like how like both Jim and Billy can see the car, but no one else can. So like it kind of looks like Jim is like chasing him down, and then Billy kind of like just flings into a ditch and dies for no reason. But yeah, basically the greasers are like hitting the back of they keep like hitting the back of his bike, and then eventually just push him off the bridge to his death.
And meanwhile, Jim is behind them in his little hoopty van, like honking the horn repeatedly, trying to get Billy's attention. I think he's trying to like get the car to leave him alone or something. But here's two vehicles, not being able to catch up to. I mean, it makes sense for the bullies because they're like trying to mess with him, but it makes no sense that Jim cannot catch a bicycle.
Yeah, that is a little silly. Yeah.
And then the fact that like they're there in the first place, because the whole lore of this movie, like they kill Billy, and then the next day, I know you're about to get to that, but like the next day, one of the bullies is in the class. He's like the new student. And the whole lore is, whenever somebody dies, one of them can come back and then everybody can see him. But in this scene, nobody's died yet. So how are they back driving the car? Because it shows like all of them in the car. It shows the shadow of all of them in the car at one point.
Yeah. That would be funny if it's supposed to be that there's no one in the car, but they couldn't hide the stunt drivers.
Like, so the car died somewhere, so the car got to come back first.
Yeah. But yeah, the next day he shows up for class. He's like telling like the principal like, no, there was another car, and they're like, nobody saw a car but you. Which now it makes sense why the principal is suspicious, but not before.
Right.
So yeah, when he shows up, the greaser played by Robert Russler has taken Billy's spot in the class. I do like how he doesn't immediately recognize him because, yeah, I'm sure that was a traumatizing moment, but like a 7-year-old 27 years ago isn't
Right.
going to like exactly remember some random bully that he met once. I don't know if they
Right. Like
frequently tormented them.
that I could buy because it was like 20 something years ago and he was a child. So maybe he's like, yeah, it reminds him of him. He's like, you kind of look like that, but he can't be like, oh, you're that bully from that time, you know?
Yeah. And then the cycle repeats. There's like a female student that like, she's trying to stand up for Jim. And like she kind of like talks to him like after class. Or no, he like bumps into her like in the street.
Yeah.
Um
Literally.
and then like they kind of have a conversation and like she goes off. And then Jim goes to sleep and has a dream of like a pretty
About his
horrific
female
murder.
student.
Was that?
Then he goes to sleep and dreams about his female student.
Oh, that's unfair. He was getting visions from I don't know. It's just everybody's psychic. See, everyone has The Shining.
That's the one thing he has the shining.
Yeah,
Because like he has this dream that like is the premonition of her death, and that's the only way. That's the only time it shows how she died. It kind of like leads you to think like that they like sexually assaulted her before she died, because it just shows like the bully like over her and never like shows the full of what happened.
yeah, and then because it's a girl, like obviously, like you're gonna,
Right, obviously that's what happened because it's Stephen
yeah,
King.
yeah. Because I brought up The Shining kind of as a joke, but I honestly I think anytime there's psychic abilities, it is Stephen King property. It's The Shining.
It's the shine.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Dark Tower with like Idris Elba?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. Like in that movie, they bring up The Shining, and it's like, well, this is really weird to hear in another movie. It's not connected to The Shining.
I remember that now. Yeah, I heard the book Dark Tower is really good, but I even people that read the book said that movie sucked.
I like the one scene where Idris Elba shoots people. Like that's a really cool scene. And then I like Matthew McConaughey as like 80s fantasy movie villain. Because that's his performance in that movie is like a
Oh,
B movie
absolutely.
fantasy
He's
villain.
very cartoony in that movie.
That's a performance I aspire to do in a movie someday. Bad and over the top, but fun.
I will totally cast you as a villain in my movie.
And since Jim has these like pretty like horrific and realistic visions, he tells the police about him, and they go in the cornfields, and they almost give up. But then like he sees a barn, or no, he asks if there's like a barn nearby, and then he goes to the barn and finds the girl's body, and she's hung from the rafters of the barn. And of course, the cops are just going to be like, "Yeah, he did it." Psychic powers don't exist.
No, it was definitely Jim, but yet they're still letting him go to work the next day.
Yeah. And then when he goes to work, another bully has taken the spots. Or another greaser has taken the spots.
Right?
And it's the guy that looks like he's 30.
Yeah, the blonde-haired kid.
And then they keep the greasers keep like bullying Jim and keep like playing like making him angry and having more public outbursts. Um his marriage, I wouldn't say his marriage is failing, but clearly like him and his wife are like not having the best of time together.
There's some friction.
Yeah, he's like obviously hiding some things, but like what can you tell her? Yeah, my students died, and now two ghost greasers have come back to life to haunt me.
I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. Okay.
And then eventually Chip himself comes to his door, and I know you said you hate Chip, but I actually kind of like this where like Chip is like,
Well, that's like his redeeming moment where he just becomes a total, crybaby.
yeah. It's always kind of funny when like you have these asshole characters that act tough and then they experience real tough people. They're like, oh my god, this is too fucking extreme for me, man.
Right.
Man, I threatened you because I thought you would call my I thought you wouldn't call my bluff, but like these guys actually want to fucking kill you.
Right? I know I said I was going to kill you, but I was just playing around. These guys are literally going to kill you.
Yeah.
So when
And
they come after
so
you to kill you, I want you to know I didn't have a part in it.
so Chip like goes to run away, but like Jim kind of like is like, hey, we need to go to the police together. We can do this. And Chip's like, yeah, you're right. Let's do it. And then he gets run over.
No,
Well, no.
he gets grabbed, taken like they kidnap Chip, and the funniest death scene in the whole movie is when they park on a bridge, all they have is little switchblade knives. That's it.
Yeah.
And granted, they're demons. Sure, I'm sure they have demon powers,
Yeah.
but you just see them park on a bridge. They roll down the window, and you just see the outside view of the car, and they just start chunking limbs of Chips out the window.
And like Michael said, they only have a switchblade.
Yeah. I'm like, this must be the sharpest switchblade in the history of switchblades. Because they're like, here's a leg, here's an arm, here's his head. I'm like, oh, okay.
In the car too, we see like their demon makeup, and it's like it's all right. Knowing this is a
Yeah.
TV movie, but
I say now that I know it was a made-for-TV movie, I'm kind of impressed by it.
um, and so during this time though, Jim kind of tries to alert the cops. Tries to alert the cops, but a detective already shows up, and he's like, "Yeah, these fucking guys, they kidnapped Chip. We need to go stop them." And they're like, I think you need to come with me."
And it's like the
Uh,
most realistic-looking detective too.
yeah,
Like,
it's just like some schlubby balding guy with a mustache.
yeah, most of the time in movies when like a detective shows up, he's like this badass, like, and this guy, he's just like this big bearded, like dude, like, all right, man, I think you're gonna come with us, like.
He looks like the jump to conclusions map guy from Office Space.
Yeah, exactly.
And, Richard Reel, I think his name is. I just thought of his cameo from Joe Dirt, where it's after the Buffalo Bob scene, and he's like, "I heard you stuck a firecracker up your ass," and Joe Dirt's like, "What?"
I remember that. Hoorah!
Jim was let go because they don't have any evidence, so it's like, why? And then do they find Chip's body like while he's like arrested, and that's like why they let him go? I can't remember.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I've been here the whole time."
Yeah, it's
I
like
just love that logic though. It's like, look, 3 of your students have died. One of them you've had like altercations with in public, but we don't have nothing to hold you here, so we're gonna let you go.
well, there's no way he could have chopped up this kid and threw him in the lake, so I guess he's good.
He didn't have a switchblade. He couldn't have done that.
But then finally, Jim comes and the ritual is complete. All 3 greasers are there to try to gaslight everyone into thinking Jim has anger issues, which I mean, he does have anger issues, so that's not that hard. There's a part where like another teacher tries to talk him into counseling. He's like, I don't need counseling.
I would like to point out like something we've missed, that the car itself has a new power when they return from hell or wherever they're from. The car can now shoot out huge flames behind it.
Oh, those kind of cars can do that already.
Oh no,
Like
but it never showed that before until it comes back.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's just every time the car takes off, it just shoots out these massive flames from behind it. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
I mean, to be fair, it is a demon car, so like it probably doesn't need like gas or whatever that's used for that. So he confronts the greasers in the bathroom. They basically like say that they want to take revenge on him. And when they leave the bathroom, he starts yelling at him, and one of them is like, "Oh, hey man, what are you doing?" in front of the principal. And the principal's like, "Oh, I knew it."
Yep. Not much I want to say about that scene.
Shortly after that, I actually really like the shot of like his son walking down the street, and then the car just fucking jumps into frame.
Oh yeah.
Although I do have to say, I get as a kid, he takes way too long to run to the street.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But I do like he's smart enough to like go under a car, and then like they just fucking ram into the car. The kid runs like further down, like into like kind of the wooded area. And so after this, fucking Jim is done with this shit. They attacked his kid. So he's finally wants to figure out what the fuck is going on. He also is it at this point, like kind of after that, that he reveals that his that he finds that his brother stole the keys from the greasers?
Yeah. Well, no, his brother didn't. Because it shows at the beginning, it shows the greasers drop the keys, like in the bottom of the railroad track or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But then to that point, they revealed that baby Jimmy, when he ran off and left his bleeding brother there, he actually grabbed the keys. He had time to do that before the train hit the car. He
Okay.
grabbed the keys and he grabbed his bigger brother's 12 cents that he had and the books that they had. He had all that in a little
Not
box
his
hidden.
brother.
Didn't grab his brother, but he grabbed everything else. It was like, Ryan, you'll be good. Just stay there. You're fine. And he put it all in a box. He had a box hidden in his old house. He goes back and gets it that has like the 3 books, the library books that still have the little belt around them, the 12 cents, and the greaser's car keys.
And after kind of looking in his box, he goes to the cemetery to go look at the graves, I guess to confirm that, like, oh yeah, these are the fucking guys
Yeah.
from that time. Um, the greasers confront him there, and they're like, "Hey, we need our 4th guy in order to complete our revenge." And so that leads Jim to start tracking down Mueller. Carl Mueller is his name. First, he goes to talk to the police officer.
He also at the graveyard, he asked for Ryan, his older brother. He asked for his help, and you see this big white light just appear, and you see the shadow of Ryan kind of walk up, and literally just kind of shrugs and turns around and walks away. And he's like, "What? No, Ryan, come on, I need you." And Ryan's just like, fuck off." Like,
It's Wayne, by the way.
oh, Wayne, okay.
Yeah, I'm cheating though. I'm looking at my notes.
It's like Wayne, Ryan, some name. It was a name.
And so yeah, he talks to like a cop that he knew as a kid, and then he finds Mueller, who is played by Will Sanderson, who is like a somewhat famous character actor. He's like in Blade Runner, is like what I remember him from. He's probably most famous for being in Deadwood. I don't know if you ever saw Deadwood.
I have not.
Okay, but he's hilarious in Deadwood. Yeah, he tries to tell him that the guys are back and takes him to the tunnel, but Carl's like, "Oh fuck this," and then runs away. At that same time, though, the greasers go and attack Sally and Scott.
I love the exposition though that Mueller has at that point, because it's like it's so obvious, like movie exposition, and then coming out of him, it just sounds so unnatural, but it's so funny because he's like, "No, they're not back. Don't tell me that. Ever since that day, my life has just went totally downhill. I'm a mess. I'm nothing." And I'm like, "Okay, we get it. Mueller sucks now." Like,
He almost says sometimes they come back.
I know. I was waiting for it.
In separate sentences, he said sometimes, and another sentence he said they came back. That's like almost got it.
Sometimes they came. Right.
After that, the greasers break into Jim's house. They attack Sally and Scott. One of them still has their demon makeup on, which I joke that like, oh, was the actor not available for that day? So they just got another. But after Jim shoots him, he gets his regular face back. They run to a church, which turns out the greasers can't follow them into. So I guess this implies that yes, they are demons and not ghosts.
Yeah, they can't go into a church. And that's when Jim leaves his family, and he's like, "To stay here, and I gotta go take care of this by myself. Y'all be safe." And he leaves. But they know that they feel comforted. And you know why they feel comforted?
Why?
Because they know that sometimes they come back.
Oh my god. And then we actually mixed up the scene. That's when he goes to go look at his box in the car.
Right. That's when he goes to look at his little box of all his goodies. Oh, he should have Wayne's head in there or something.
And then Mueller shows up. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I believe you." I don't remember why he says he believes him. I guess he just thought about it. He's like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense."
He said he's tired of running, which I don't understand. Like, what have you been running from? They just now came back.
Yeah.
But he's like, "I'm tired of running, and my life sucks now, and I'm here to help."
But then Mueller is immediately kidnapped by the greasers. So it's like that was a short team up.
I love when they kidnap him though. It's so funny. I don't know. The greasers are like they're just so fun in this movie. Like I love like going on their journey with them. But when they have Mueller, it's like they're just like to them they're like he's still their friend and he hates them now. And they're
Yeah.
like, come on, Mueller. They're like trying to like they're bullying the like family at the church, like banging
Yeah.
on the windows and stuff. Mueller's just sitting there like, oh. They're like, aren't you having fun? Come on.
They all have like sticks and they're banging the sticks on like the windows and Mueller's just kind of standing there with his stick like, oh, I don't this is embarrassing. I don't want to be seen with these guys.
These guys suck now.
One of them does like a flip off of like the wall. The blonde-haired one, he like howls like a wolf as he's like sits in a tree. And it's like a
The other one
prolonged
just
howl.
laughs obnoxiously. Like the blonde haired kid howls, and the other guy, the third one that you don't even really has no part in this movie, really. He just goes, ha ha ha, about everything. Like this obnoxious, like hyena laugh.
Once again, I watched this movie again today and like I guess it's not a good sign for this movie. I can't remember scenes that I saw 2 hours
Already blocked
ago.
some of it out.
But the greasers are able to get Scott and Sally out and then take them hostage and then take them
Because
to
they reveal a new power that they've never used before in this movie, and they never use it a second time. They mimic the sound of his dad. Because like from outside the church, he hears his dad call him, and he's like, "Oh, Dad's back!" And even the wife's like, "Oh, he's back already!" And they run out of the church, and the greasers grab them. And I'm like, "Oh, they can mimic sounds. Now they're Ghostface. Okay, cool."
And so that leads them to the final confrontation at the tunnel.
Which at the tunnel, it's never been explained like what they're gonna do, like why they're back, what their plan is for being back. They just keep saying, "Oh, we have to do our final ritual or whatever," but they never explain what it is. Apparently, the final ritual is they have to reenact word for word what happened that day with the same people, but they have to finish it this time. And when that happens, they don't really explain what's gonna happen. I guess they keep saying they're free. Then I guess that means they'll
probably get their lives back or something.
I don't know, something. They never really explain it fully.
Yeah, I think maybe what happens is like they basically just get their lives back, so they're humans again.
Yeah.
They're not
And Mueller
bound.
kind of pays the part of Wayne because he's the one that gets accidentally stabbed, and the blonde one's like, "You weren't supposed to kill him. That's not how the ritual works."
And then the Robert Ressler one, his name is Richard. I know we didn't say the names of them, but I guess we're saying the names now.
Greaser number one.
And so he's like, oh, he like the same thing he's repeating. He's like, oh, he had it coming.
Yeah.
But I guess they explained Mueller the whole situation because then Mueller tells him like, oh, one of us dies, another one comes back, right? Which then brings in Wayne.
And that's another thing that bugged me is you see the big bright white light oval thing that Wayne now walks out of, and you think he's gonna save the day, but no, he just gets grabbed again and like thrown around and punched and slapped. And really serves no purpose whatsoever.
But at least he provides enough of a distraction for Jim to throw away their keys and then save his family.
And then Ghost Train.
And I guess one of the leader, Richard, he tells them like, "Oh, we're going to come back again." And then Jim is like, "No, this is it. You're going to hell now." Because I guess they couldn't complete the ritual in time, so now they're instead of being like stuck on Earth, now they're going to hell. And so they get in the car and then get run over once again.
Yeah, once again, they decide to get in the car when they could easily just not get hit by the ghost train. And then for no reason, when they're about to get hit by the ghost train, they know they're dead. They know they're going like back to hell or wherever they came from. And the blonde kid looks out the window and goes, "Hey, kid!" For no reason whatsoever. That is his final word.
And then they all got their demon faces as the car is hit by the train and they explode.
Yeah. And then one of the biggest pet peeves I have of the movie happens.
Is it where Wayne is like, "Oh yeah, hey, you're coming to me, right?" And Jim's like, no."
Yeah. Wayne's like, "So you can come back with me now into the white light." And Jim's like, "No, I have a family. They need me. Like I'm here." And Wayne goes, but it was so lonely there, and I've been there for so long, and it's so lonely. I'm like, didn't you just come out of a white light? Like, isn't that like supposed to be like a heaven?
Which even then, if the ritual was if like the ritual was completed, quotation air quotes that I did,
Yeah,
shouldn't that mean that they go to their respective afterlives then? If the
right.
greasers are going to hell, so shouldn't Wayne
Exactly,
be
and
free
then
to go
Jim
to
even
heaven?
says when he says like, "Oh, it's been so lonely there." Jim's like, "Oh, but it's all over now. So now you'll go to a much better place." I'm
Yeah.
like, "A brighter white light?" Like he literally came out of a white light. Like I'm so confused.
I do have to admit though, it was kind of touching when like his wife explained like why they still need him, and that kind
Right.
of got Wayne to be like, okay, yeah, I guess it'll be
Okay,
good to go.
fine.
I'll go to heaven.
And then he gives us 12 cents to his son. He's like,
Yeah,
"This was my older brother's, but now it's yours." And the kid's just like, "Yeah, dude, I just literally saw your brother go back into the white light." Like,
yeah. And then they leave the tunnel, and the movie's over.
thank God.
That was sometimes they come back. So I think I like this one a bit more than you. Well, maybe not a bit more. I gave this like a 7 out of 10. I thought this one was
I mean,
pretty decent.
my letterbox review, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Like, I still like the movie. Like, it holds. Like I said, I have a history with it. It holds some nostalgia for me. But it definitely wasn't. Like I said, I used to rewatch this movie all the time as a kid. I loved it.
Yeah.
And watching it yesterday, I was like, yeah, it's not holding up as well as I thought. Because I totally planned on doing a double feature. I was going to watch the second one with Hilary Swank, and I was like, maybe I won't.
Yeah, I think the greasers are like the highlight of this movie, and they're kind of worth like
Absolutely,
checking
hands
it out
down.
because they're having a blast. Yeah, this is kind of like okay, and like the Stephen King has adaptations are either it can be great, like Shawshank, Green Mile, Stand by Me, Carrie. I think it's funny that I named a bunch of non-horror movies.
Right. Honestly, my
uh,
favorite, and I have a very big hot take on this, but probably my favorite Stephen King adaptation was a made-for-TV movie called The Langoliers.
uh,
I mean, it's very cheaply made. It has so many errors in it as far as the filmmaking goes, but that movie has like one of the coolest plots, and I don't know. I've always liked it.
Um, I'll come back to that in a second. But I thought about asking you to do Langoliers, but I was like, oh, I don't want to torture Michael and make him watch 3 hours of the fucking stupid Langoliers.
I love that movie so much. I can almost quote that movie.
I guess we'll have to do the Langoliers at some point. But that kind of is like a big thing where like Stephen King has really good premises that like make you like want to figure out what's going on, but like the endings generally like not even just the endings, like when you're kind of explained like what's going on, like I like the original It's miniseries. I like part one of
Like
the
part
new
two.
It's.
Oh,
But
the new
like
It.
yeah, like with
Yeah,
James
part one.
McAvoy.
Yeah, part one was good.
Um, but like when you kind of learn that like oh Pennywise is like a spider alien that can just
Yeah.
shapeshift, that's kind of lame.
I mean, it's not as lame as them bullying him to death in the remake.
Are you familiar with Dreamcatcher?
Yeah, I did
Or
like it.
there's just like aliens at the
I
end. And you're
get
like,
it.
so like he has like some good premises that like but just sometimes the endings, which I think they make a joke about that in Nip Chapter 2, where like Stephen King is a cameo, and you're like he's talking to James McAvoy's character who's a writer, and he's like, "Oh, your book is really good until the ending."
It's just a giant spider.
Oh, and I feel really embarrassed about this. I was talking about good Stephen King adaptations. I did not mention one of my favorite movies ever, The Shining, which is ironic because Stephen King doesn't like that movie.
Yeah, I know. I think he likes Doctor Sleep, but
uh,
I love both of them. I actually
oh
just
yeah, they're
watched
both
them
really
both
good.
recently because my girlfriend had saw a clip or read something about Doctor Sleep, and she was like, "Do you have Doctor Sleep?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, I would like to watch it. I've never seen it. It looks, I read this thing about it. Sounds really good." I was like, "Yeah, it's a great sequel, especially one that's like so long after The Shining." She's like, "Oh, I've never seen The Shining." I was like, "What?" I was like, we're totally doing a double feature. Like we're watching The Shining and then Doctor Sleep, and she was a huge fan of both, so
Yeah,
that was
that's
fun. It
good.
was a fun time.
It'd be funny if you just said like, "Yeah, we'll just watch Doctor Sleep."
No, hell no.
It's like, why does this guy look like Jack Nicholson? You're like, oh,
That guy looks just like Jack Nicholson. That's weird.
who's who's this black
You
guy
know,
that who's this
you
black
know,
guy that Ian McGregor keeps talking to?
the hotel's really cool. They should make a movie based there.
I make that joke with the Wednesday show. I'm like, this Adams family that Wednesday has, they should make a whole thing about them.
They should make a prequel that just focuses on the family.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like as like a TV movie, I think this is enjoyable. It's I honestly like I still think the premise is really silly. I feel like this is the best that you're ever gonna get off of this. So yeah, I would say check it out. It's free on Tubi. So if you like things that are based on Stephen King, I definitely would recommend this as like a as like a random watch.
It's a fun little movie. I'd recommend it. But thinking back, honestly, a lot of at least for me personally, a lot of my favorite Stephen King movies are made for TV movies. Like The Stand was a made for TV movie, and I love that movie. Langoliers. There was another one.
Salem's Lot.
The remake. Wait, the original one was it?
There's like two. There's like three adaptations of Salem's Lot.
Yeah, I know there's one with like Rob Lowe that was made for TV.
Yeah.
There's a Shining version that was made for TV that has Steven Weber in it. It's supposed to
Stephen
be
King
more like
likes that one more.
yeah, because it follows the book more, but it sucks.
um the Tommy Knockers, I think that was a
Yeah, that was a made for TV movie, I think. So okay, I take back all the negative stuff I said because it was made for TV. Like some of his best stuff is made.
yeah. And apparently this was successful enough. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. They made sequels to this.
Well, a sequel.
No, two sequels.
What? There's the third one?
Yeah, so they made Sometimes They Come Back Again, which stars Hilary Swank, as he said, also Burt Gummer from Tremors, Michael Gross,
Yes.
and I looked. The only thing I looked up about it was okay. Is there evil greasers in it? Which yes, apparently there's evil greasers in the second one.
And I think the same blonde kid plays in it, but the leader of them is a different actor.
Do you know if it's the same greasers or it's just like, oh, this is another movie about different haunted greasers?
I think it's the same greasers because if I remember right, and I haven't seen this movie in years either, but if I remember right, the blonde greaser is the same actor, same character, everything, but the leader is a different actor. So, but I think they're the same like characters.
All I can see from this one is the fat kid from The Sandlot is in it.
So, like, you're killing me, Smalls? That guy?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
Patrick Retta.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
But yes, they made Sometimes They Come Back for More. That's the third one. And it is an Arctic horror movie that features no greasers, and it sounds more like a Lovecraftian movie.
So, what's it called? Oh, sometimes they come back for more. I'm thinking now.
Yeah. And so it seems like it's just about scientists in the Arctic. They uncover something they shouldn't, and like, oh no, it's old and evil. No idea why it's called Sometimes They Come Back. it's kind of like
Crazy.
do you know the Mangler about the evil
Yeah,
laundry
I
press?
love the Mangler. The Mangler's awesome.
So they made a sequel that's not about the laundry press. And then they made a third one that's about the laundry press machine again. So it's like
wow.
so silly that they do that. They just use them. It's like, did the Mangler make enough money that people would go see I guess it did because they made 3.
Wow.
That is all for Sometimes They Come Back. One thing I know for sure, Michael, you will be back.
I mean, sometimes I'll be back.
That was a stupid joke. All right, I'm reviewing Creepshow next time. Bye.